Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Federal government challenges states to come up with right policies to boost their economies as participants at the Ogun State Investors Forum confident of return to growth path. Amnesty International accuses Nigerian military of failing to prevent Dapchi schoolgirls' abduction despite warning. Defense headquarters challenges Amnesty to provide evidence of advance information. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Pt.2 says Nigeria loses about 3 trillion naira worth of investment annually due to delay in passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill. And 23 Russian diplomats and their families leave the UK in compliance with Britain's expulsion order following the nerve agent spy attack. Now, channelstv.com has more information for you, and on youtube.com/channelsweb, you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app have an eyewitness feature that you can use to share pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app and tap and swipe to reveal the menu and then follow the instructions. So we have some pictures that were sent in, and let's begin from this one from Ahoda West local government area of River State, showing this school identified as Ubobi Community Secondary School. Our eyewitness reporter who sent this in is worried about the effect of this poor infrastructure on teaching and learning, and is calling on the state government to do something quickly.
It's no longer doing anything now. The business has suddenly been brought to an end because there is no electricity.
And we have this video from Satellite Town in Lagos State showing these people whom our eyewitness reporter says are residents of Ijegun protesting an alleged blackout for more than 8 months. According to our eyewitness reporter, the angry residents took their protest to the premises of the Eco Electricity Distribution Company, blocking staff from gaining access to their offices. And finally is this video also from Lagos State, but this time from Ijebu-Jakonde, showing a flooded road, which our eyewitness reporter says is the case whenever it rains. And he blames this on the blocked drainages and wants it cleared. Do keep all your pictures coming in, and thanks for the ones that you sent in. President Muhammadu Buhari has met with former Vice President Namadi Sambo in his office at the presidential villa. It will be the 4th time the former Vice President will be visiting the State House since the inception of the Buhari administration. Today's meeting took place from 12 noon and lasted for about 30 minutes. The former Vice President declined to speak to State House correspondents who approached him as he walked to his waiting car and left.
How are you?
We're still going to stay in Abuja, but we're going to cross over to Linda Akigbe. Hey, Linda.
Hi, Joma. Now from the State House, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Pt.2, is worried that the non-enactment of the Petroleum Industry Bill is making the country lose about 3 trillion naira worth of investments annually. Mr. Kachiku was speaking at a symposium on the next steps for the Petroleum Industry Bill in Abuja, where participants expressed optimism that the 3 remaining bills on the Nigerian Petroleum Industry Bill will be passed in the near future. Kayla Megwa has this report.
This is a meeting set up to answer questions asked and questions yet to be asked. The focus is the Nigeria oil sector and proposed legislations to regulate it. According to the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Pt.2, the country loses about 3 trillion naira worth of investment annually due to the non-enactment of the Petroleum Industry Bill. Since 2008, when the bill was introduced in the National Assembly, the country waited almost a decade before a part of the bill, the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill, was passed recently by Parliament. However, it is yet to be sent to the President for assent. Other pending legislation on the Petroleum Industry Bill are the Fiscal Regime Bill, the Upstream and Midstream Administration Bill, and the Petroleum Revenue Bill. The Executive Secretary of Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative outlines the purpose for this meeting.
We shouldn't be carried away yet. One, the PIB was broken into 4. So even when you have the PIGB, assuming that it passes through the National Assembly and is signed by the President, it's still 1/4. So this is just 25%. What happens to the 3 other bills?
Other players in the sector are optimistic that the other parts of the bill will be passed.
The government should know that it's a regulator. It should have independence at 3 levels. Physical, money. It has to fund itself, use its own resources as it wants and as the law directs it. 2, managerial independence. The chief executive of that regulatory agency must be free to run the institution as a regulator does. And thirdly, very important, is what we call decisional independence. They must be able to have autonomy to make decisions. The market will not tolerate a regulator who is teleguided.
We hope that Mr. President is going to assent to the bill as quickly as possible for the Nigerian oil and gas economy to hit the road because we've been backward for a very long time.
What transitional arrangements are being contemplated? How do we ensure that the new institutions created by the bills do not end up as replicas of the existing ones? These are the burning questions that are yet to be answered. Participants at this symposium agree that better regulation of the oil and gas industry is necessary for the sector to run optimally. Kayla Megwa, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the Rivers State Governor, Nyesom Wike, is asking the international community to look beyond oil and take advantage of other investment opportunities in the state. The governor, who is speaking during an interactive meeting organized by the Financial Times London at its headquarters with some European investors today, promised that his administration is committed to ensuring that investors and their investments are protected.
We must have to protect investors and their investments. So we take the issue of security very, very serious. And so we think that today, if there's one state that you can invest, there's one state that is free of interference or free of harassment, it is Rivers State. Of course, the increasing population and the domestic market is there, which is a factor that will influence the investors to come in. Apart from the oil and gas, we still have abundant natural resources. You have something like timber, we have sharp sand, we have gravel, we have clay minerals, oil palm. So it's not only oil and gas.
And to the judiciary, 4 co-defendants of the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, have taken fresh plea before a federal high court in Abuja. Bright Chimezie, Chidebere Onwudiwe, Benjamin Madubugu and David Nwanwuzi pleaded not guilty to the 3-count charge freshly filed by the federal government against them. The court had authorized the prosecution team to separate the case of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu from his co-defendants at the last sit-in. Our correspondent Amaka Okafo reports.
It's the resumed hearing in the case against the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra and his co-defendants. Mr. Nnamdi Kanu has been absent from the proceedings since the resumption of trial in October 2017, and the federal government has decided to proceed with the trial of his co-defendants. The prosecution team filed a fresh 3-count charge against the 4 of them, accusing them of conspiracy to commit treason by running and managing a radio station, improper importation of goods, including a radio transmitter, and illegal possession of firearms. All the accused persons entered a not guilty plea. Having taken their plea, counsel to Mr. Bright Chimezie, who is appearing in court for the first time, sought the leave of the court for the transfer of his client to the Kuje prisons from the Department of State Services, and for access to his client to prepare for trial. All prayers were granted by the trial judge, Justice Bintu Nyako.
We've been having hitches, bottleneck in the progress of this case for quite some time. Under the last adjourned date, we applied to the court that owing to the fact that other defendants are languishing in detention without trial, we sought the leave of the court to sever the charge so that progress can be made in the charge, in the case. And that order was given, and we severed the charge, and all of them today are answering their parents' name.
We are much ready to go on with trial. We have looked at their proof of evidence, the charge and all that. It is watery. The charges are incompetent, which in the appropriate time we are going to bring an application asking the court to dismiss those charges because they are watery, they are frivolous, they are worthless.
Justice Benton Nyako has adjourned the case to the 22nd of March for the prosecution to open its case. Amaka Okafor, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami, has taken a swipe at the National Assembly for threatening to report Justice Ahmed Mohammed of the Federal High Court to the Chief Justice of Nigeria. The decision by the National Assembly is in respect of the court's ruling on March 14, which temporarily barred the lawmakers from taking any action aimed at overriding President Muhammadu Buhari's veto of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2018. Mr. Malami, who appeared as a second defendant in the suit filed by the Accord Party, was reacting to a statement made by the counsel to the National Assembly, Mr. Joseph Daudu, saying that the judiciary is in the eye of the storm following the criticisms trailing Justice Mohammed's ruling. Meanwhile, the court today dismissed a motion filed by the All People's Party seeking to be joined as party in the suit and later adjourned the case to March 26th for the hearing of the substantive matter. And when the News at 10 returns, Nigeria moves up 24 points to 145 in World Bank 2018 Ease of Doing Business reports. That's on Business News. Join us again.